Hello.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, we talk about the racing model, and we talk about the R, which is the responsibility, and A being the accountable, C is the consulted, and I is the informed. And we say that R, the responsibility can be whether the client, the person you are working for, or the team that will be taking over the project. So, and if it's going to be a team, you have to name the name of the people that are going to be on the team that will be responsible for the project. So, for the accountable, it said that the person responsible may not be the one that is accountable, and it can be the person that is responsible that is also accountable for maybe the billing and everything of the project. So, I think the RA, I'll say I get properly more than the CI.
Yeah, thank you so much. You kind of summarized the class of last week. That's great. Thank you. I need someone as well to talk about Gantt charts. He has talked a lot about RASI model, so someone else should tell us about. So RASI model uses something like a table, and is a very simple method of um, planning your project. So I need someone to tell us Gantt chart, about Gantt chart. Then someone else should prepare to tell us the difference and the benefit of using one over the other. So someone should tell us about Gantt chart.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning.
Yes, ma. Okay. About the Gantt model. Gantt model is more focused on the time, the project schedule, or the timeline of the project, in which each of the project tasks are outlined, and then the time taken for each project will also be noted. So sometimes also the person responsible for each of the projects also noted. Just to make sure that you know which project comes before which, and which task, sorry, comes before which, and if one task will be leading to another, and if they are which, and it also tells which project has been completed, is ongoing, or is pending, and why. I think that's basically it about Gantt chart.
Yeah, then also the timelines. And you can have multiple tasks in a timeline. You can, when you draw your Gantt charts, you represent various timelines with time blockers on your Gantt chart. But that's good. Thank you. Someone else wants to tell us more about Gantt chart or RASI model before we look at the benefits and futures of using either of both. Or you can even mention how you started applying it to your assignment. Someone should speak, or you want me to call you? Okay. Hello. I was about calling him. Go on.
Okay, yeah. So concerning how I was just going to speak about how I started applying it to my particular project. I mean, the assignment was about using both the Gantt chart and the RASI model. So basically, the first thing I did is to outline all the activities that I know all the activities that would take place, that would consist the entire project as a whole. So after outlining those activities, then is to define who is going to handle one of these activities at any particular time. Then with that, I can now schedule a particular time interval based on the understanding of what the activity is going to entail. So I schedule a particular time interval on that particular or different activities. Then I took it to the Gantt chart. I started the Gantt chart initially, so then it basically specify who is responsible. But the only thing that the Gantt chart specifies only who is responsible. It cannot tell maybe the person is going to consult one person at any point in time, or the person is supposed to inform someone else about the work at any point in time. So the VASI model on the other hand will actually inform that, okay, this person is going to be informed about the step or the activities taking place at this particular point in time. Then it's also going to specify who is going to be accountable, who is going to be in charge of ensuring that the person responsible has carried out the work he is supposed to do at any point in time. So that was basically all that is for now. But I've not completed the assignment; it's still on the way. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you. That's very nice. I like the way you are applying it to your assignment. And I think I gave you guys heads up. So it's good you're following the heads up as well, listing out all the details of what you'll be doing. When you want to plan something, you must know what you are planning for. So you must have clear objective, clear goals, clear description of the steps you must take to achieve your goals. Someone else should talk. I need everyone to talk.
Okay, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
So I'm also applying Gantt chart to my projects. So I have the start date and the finish date. I have the milestone. The milestone is like the completion of several tasks. So I have like milestone for each analysis I'm carrying out. Then again, what we call dependence. So for some analysis, I have to carry out what we call business requirements gathering to gain the main experts in what I want to do. So basically, I have milestone, I have tasks, I have finish date and start dates for my Gantt chart.
Okay, great. Some tasks may not take a day, some tasks may take hours. So you can also indicate that. Okay, next person. Who is going next?
I think I want to add something. Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, is Madam Okwe hearing me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. I didn't know I was on mute. I can hear
Oh,
you. Go on.
okay. So, anyway, everyone has broken down the Gantt chart and the RASI model, but I also went ahead to do some extra study on the RASI model. So in this particular stuff I saw that there could be variations from the actual RASI model, which is RACI, the responsible person, accountable person, the consultant, and then the informed. So this one I saw was a RASI with an S, where the S stands for support. And so these are people that support either the people responsible or people accountable. And that's just what I just want to add to that, to what everyone has said, because everyone has actually said everything that I would have want to say about grant staff or the RASI model. So the extra thing was that I saw that there could be support as well in the RASI model. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that addition. I always like that everybody participates because it's not just the same set of people that should talk. Everyone should talk. That shows that you are getting one or two things from the class. I've not really, I think, Toby, have you spoken? Then Toro.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good
I had
morning.
network difficulties, so I just came in not long, so I don't even know the question, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about last week class on the models for project planning, Gantt chart, RASI model. So I mentioned that, or I asked that you should tell us about the model, tell us how they differ, and tell us how you've applied it to your project. So you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Mama. Um, okay, last week you mentioned that the racing model is used for project management and change management. So you talked about the change management. You described it as a management that is needed during project deliverable. So mm, okay, then you talked about you emphasized the need for buffers and okay, difference between racing model and Gantt chart. Gantt chart has to do with managing timelines. So on a Gantt chart, basically you break down your project details and then allocate time to it. So Gantt chart has to do with managing timelines. Then racing models has to do with managing people resources. Yeah, people resource on a project. So the racing model, a table is suitable for the for the racing model, but you mentioned that Gantt chart could be more like a pictorial kind of representation. And then racing simply means responsibility, accountable, consulted, and informed. Yes. So basically what I've been doing was just reading widely about it, and I just want to start applying it to that my problem statement. So I've not really worked on it, ma. I don't know if you still want me to mention anything.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just wanted to be sure that you have an understanding of the class of last week. It's okay,
Thank you.
but I believe you can apply it to your project planning.
Yes, ma.
Okay, who hasn't spoken before we start?
Hi, ma. Good
Hello,
morning,
ma.
ma. This is Oluwatosin.
Yes, please, you can go on.
Okay, so generally, everyone has practically talked about the racing model and the Gantt chart. But I just want to add that it's important to know that they are both important for it is significant to know that they are both important for project management according to project schedule. As if you have a Gantt chart, it's also required that you indicate who is responsible, who is accountable, and who could be consulted and who should be informed. It could be the same person, yes, right, and it could also be different people. It's just to share the responsibility, so you would have a better tracking of the tasks of the tasks. Yes, thank you.
Okay, how have you applied it to your project?
Okay, so far I've just been able to write out my project plan with that so far. I've not gotten to the rest side. I've not started appointing people, but so far I've been able to write out my schedule.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other person that is here to speak?
Good morning, ma.
Good morning.
Yes, ma. I would like to talk about the Gantt charts, and you mentioned that one of the tools that we can use for the Gantt chart is the Microsoft project, and I was able to see from the Microsoft project that we could okay, I think it has mentioned that we could make tasks to run simultaneously, and we could also indicate by how much that is how long we want those tasks to run simultaneously. One thing I also noticed that working with the Gantt chart using Microsoft project is that we could also indicate what do they call it? We could set out days that are public holidays. Maybe we know that this day is going to be a public holiday. We set it out. so that it doesn't eat into the timeline of the project. And we could also set out our working days and our working hours using the Gantt chart on Microsoft project. Maybe our working days is maybe Monday to Thursdays now. Then okay, we could set that out. So any as you're arranging the activity for that project, once it gets to Thursday, it doesn't record any activity on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the next Monday. So, and I would just like to, last week you made mention that using the RACI model was easier than the Gantt chart, but using the Gantt chart or using Microsoft project for the Gantt chart, I kind of find it easier, or maybe I didn't get what you said. I kind of find it easier to schedule projects using the Microsoft projects, using Gantt charts, using Microsoft project than using the RACI model. So those are just my observations and about.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Yeah, the RACI model and Gantt chart representation are different. So for RACI model, it's better to use tools like Microsoft Project. But for Gantt chart, but for RACI model, you could just, use your Excel sheets and drop a table. You understand? So that's what I meant by saying drawing up a table for your planning. It's just you putting your planned activities in a table, you understand, and filling in the space. So it depends on you. Easy, the word easy is relative. But for someone who is not familiar with Microsoft Project Platform, using Gantt chart would be an hassle for such. But it's fine. Okay. Any other person want to speak? Oh, we are all done. Okay, Iyola is raising his hand.
Yes, I want to say, for me, I think it actually makes a lot of sense when you incorporate the two together. And if it's not much work, it's better to just use a blend. That way, you know who's responsible, and there's also a timeline.
Exactly, and that's what happens in real life most of the time. So people use tools and methods that they are familiar and comfortable with, as long as you are delivering on your goals. So for a project manager, the main aim is to deliver on goals, on time, within resource, and with quality. You understand? And I think that was the first thing that was done. That was the first discussion in your first class, telling you about projects, that the aim of every project is to ensure delivery on time, within resource, and delivering quality. You understand? So you employ these various platforms at various times and you could even, there are several models we've just talked about two. I think I'll share one more with you to wrap it up. And many more models are still coming up. As the more people do research, the more they refine processes and say, oh no, let's use this model, let's use this method, and stuff like that. Can you hear me? Why did I appear like I lost connection? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah. Can I go on now? Has everybody spoken? I wasn't really keeping track. Okay, I guess everyone has spoken. Okay, so this morning I'll talk quickly on another methodology. So these methodologies, they always have areas they kind of are more useful for, or they kind of concentrate on. Let me put it that way. So today I'm going to talk about a methodology known as Agile methodology. And Agile methodology is an improvement over a process well known in computer science as how will I put it, SDLC method. That's software development lifecycle process. Let me put it that way. So, no. Waterfall model, used for software development lifecycle. For those who did computer science in school, you must have learned about waterfall model. If you have, or if you know anything on waterfall model, can you just raise your hand or just say yes? Okay, just one person. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So, waterfall model is a method, or is a way of planning the development of software for organization or anything that has to do with IT related projects. Yes, for organization. But over time, researchers came up with another approach saying that, why using a linear method? Because waterfall model is kind of linear. You do your requirements gathering. After your requirements gathering, you do like your feasibility study or feasibility approach. Then you come up with your pseudocode or algorithm. Then you build your software or something. I can't really remember the process, but it's like a linear process. One process has to be completed before you move on to the next process. So instead of that, software project managers and researchers then came up with a non-linear approach for managing software, which can also be applied for projects. And then this method is called Agile method. Agile simply means that let's go agile, let's make things faster, let's make things run in parallel. So it's called Agile method. So in Agile method, it is expected that it was first applied, or it is most applied for software products. And I'm using software products to explain it, but I'm going to break it down on how you apply for data analytics project or any kind of project. So for software projects, what Agile method does is that it looks at the features of a software application. So a software application should be able to, let me take a mobile banking app, for example. A mobile banking app should be able to do a transfer. You should be able to make bills payment. That's make payment for things like your GoTV, your recharge card and stuff like that. Make bills payment. You should also be able to show transactions history. I should be able to go to my mobile app and see all the transfers I've done within a certain date range. I should also be able to log in. I should be able to do, like, if you take your mobile app and take on all the features, you might list up to 20 or more features. So what Agile method does is that it takes each of these features as a product, and then it builds the product in parallel. So Agile method takes the product and then writes like a use case around it to say who will use this product, what it builds a case study around each product by answering the questions who, what, when. Who will use this product? What is this? Who will use this feature? what is this future expected to show or represent, and um, um, result or purpose of using the product. So it answers those varied questions to create a case study around the product. And then each product is then handled as a small project. So for each of these products, you have like a timeline for each of them. And then you can build each feature in parallel. So you can assign the product build and assign the product development to developers who would create the future. So you're building each product independently, but they are all going to work. They are all going to form part of a product model on a software platform. Okay, so now let's take that to data analytics development. So in data analytics projects, we also have features as products. So you could take on a project and look at what are the different product areas for this data analytics project, or you could look at department-wise, who are the various departments that need this analytics product, and then you begin to build in parallel. So building in parallel, meaning that you're not using a linear approach, you're using a non-linear approach. So what makes that easy is that you're also getting constant feedback from your team members, from your project team members, on the extent to which this product is being built. So Agile methodology uses certain artifacts that makes it easier to monitor the progress of building products or of developing projects. So some of those artifacts are what we call Scrum. Scrum is a framework used in Agile methodology. I also mentioned the use of use case. So use case is also like another artifact used in Agile methodology. So you use the use case to build your products or your projects in parallel, your project features in parallel. I'm going to concentrate more on the Scrum aspects because it's the Scrum artifact that is used mostly for project planning, for general projects. So the Scrum artifact helps you to get constant feedback from your project team members on the extent to which they are building on the various product tasks assigned to them. So Scrum artifacts comes in form of a project meeting, and that's why it's even more widely applied for general projects, because project managers just pick that Scrum aspect of Agile to go Agile. So the way Scrum works is that within your project team, you assign someone who is like a Scrum Master, you assign someone with the role of a Scrum Master. A Scrum Master is just like is plays like the role of a PA. Let me put it that way. Someone who helps you with documentations and detailing of your facts. The project manager can also be the Scrum Master in smaller teams. So what the Scrum Master does is to manage what we call a sprint, a sprint sheet. Don't worry, I'm going to give you, okay, let me share my screen, but this is just a write-up. But I'll allow you watch a video that will show you some pictures of these things I've mentioned, a short video. And then you can read up on it much later by yourself. So the Scrum Master, but for now, just listen. The Scrum Master organizes what we call a stand-up meeting, a short daily, or most times it's daily, or most times it's once in 2 days, but a meeting that happens very frequently, but within a short time. So because it happens frequently, it has to be within a short time frame. So a Scrum Master organizes a Scrum meeting. The recommended Scrum meeting is daily for 15 minutes. So first task in the day is your Scrum meeting, which happens within 15 minutes. And within 15 minutes, every member of the project, every project team member, depending on how large the team is, or every project team unit representatives, gives a summary of the task that's been assigned to them. So they give a summary by telling us what they achieved yesterday, what they will be achieving today, and the challenges that they are facing. So it's simple. The Scrum meeting consists of telling stories on what was achieved yesterday, what will be achieved today, and the challenges being faced by the team members. So that way, it's easy for the project manager to plan and to have foresight into what is going on within the project, without necessarily chasing after project team members. So that's why I said is the Scrum aspect of agile methodology that most project managers apply generally across. And this feature kind of is very helpful for getting feedback from projects. Okay, so the Scrum framework really is mostly about the stand-up meeting. Then aside the stand-up meeting, there is a sprint sheet. So the sprint sheet is almost similar to your Gantt chart, which helps you to organize tasks and timelines that should be done, but within a shorter time frame. So your Gantt chart plans for the whole of your project time frame, but your sprint is used to do like a 2 weeks plan. So within 2 weeks, what are the things that are to be achieved, and who are the people responsible, and what is the what's it called? What's the product? What's the result expected from the task to be achieved? So at the end of the 2 weeks, you just mark a status. There are 3 status that can appear. Is it done? Is it pending? Or yet to be started? So at the end of the 2 weeks, tasks that are yet to be started or pending is moved to what we call the sprint backlog. So in the sprint backlog, you have like tasks that maybe you moved to a later time. Then at the beginning of a new sprint, you can pick from your backlog, or you can pick from your new tasks to say, okay, these are the tasks that you want to achieve within the 2 weeks, and these are the expected goals. So this is just another method that kind of is even is a more, how will I put it, is a more common method now. Most project managers make use of agile method now for their project planning across all various kind of projects. And you find them saying that, oh, we'll do Scrum meetings, which is 15 minutes daily. they have a sprint sheet, which is drawn on. Most times they put it on a whiteboard that is visible to all team members. So every team member can easily see what their task is, what tasks they're expected to achieve and what the end results are. Then they also do sprint review that happens every 2 weeks to plan for a new sprint. So your sprint is like a miniature plan of your Gantt chart. You understand? So just like Daniel mentioned that as a project manager, you can apply all various methods, all to achieve on your goal. And what Scrum method will help you with achieving is to, give you insights as a project manager of what is going on within the project from all project angles, from all team members. You understand? So that you are well abreast of any challenges that may come up and nothing becomes a surprise to you. Right. Another method people use is, using holding their stand-up meetings on platforms like WhatsApp and stuff like that. Or there are also software platforms that are very useful for monitoring tasks. Like you have your Basecamp, you have Trello, some even use GitHub. So from these various platforms, you can assign tasks and monitor task status, if it is done, if it's pending, or if it's or if it's a new task, newly assigned task. So I'm going to start a new video now and share my screen so that you can all watch the video here on my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
There's no sound.
In this series, can you hear the volume, the audio as well?
No, we can't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, I'll play it again and increase the volume and ask you once more. Did you hear the volume now? Did you hear the audio?
Yeah, but it's
Okay,
quite low.
Yes, sir.
quite low. Okay, just pay attention. I'm going to share the link with you so you can watch it later as well. But just pay attention for now. I'll start the video again.
No, we can't hear anything, man.
No,
Ma,
we're
there's
unable
no.
to hear.
Hello, ma.
Hello, ma. Ma, we can't hear anything.
Hello, ma.
Hello.
We can't hear. Like we couldn't hear anything.
Okay, but you could watch the video. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, ma. We can
Yes,
see
ma'am.
your
See your screen. Just couldn't
Okay,
hear any
okay,
audio.
I would suggest you turn on subtitle so at least we can read.
Uh,
Just turn on subtitle on yes on YouTube.
okay.
I think that's the CC. Is it
Where do I
CC?
find
Just
that?
CC. Yes,
Ma, the CC
on this
button.
list. Yes, CC
Yes,
button.
ma.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we can see it now. So you can start again. This.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, it's quite faster than normal. Is there a problem somewhere? Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry for the audio part of it that wasn't coming out. I'm going to send the link now so that you can watch the video as well later on. But I just need you guys to get abreast of what Scrum is and how you can apply Agile methodology for project planning. Yeah, Richard, you are raising your hand. You have something to say?
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask a question, ma'am.
Okay, go on.
When you explain product development, we mentioned
I
user
think
case. When you explain product development, you mentioned the user case of the requirements. So I wanted to
yeah.
ask, is it the same functional requirements documents? Because what you explained is almost the same thing. You talk about your features and for the products.
Yes, so user case stories and functional requirements are very similar. But user case just goes a level higher to writing. It will extract the requirement as a story, but again, it will put it in form of a scenario to say, okay, who would need this requirement, and what is this requirement expected to achieve, and the goals of the requirement. So user case is like a scenario, unlike requirements that just list out functionalities to say, okay, these are the requirements for this product or for this software or for this project, and it's just like a list of your tasks. But user case just takes it a bit higher to creating it in form of a story that anyone who reads it can visualize and relate. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Clear now. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I don't have a slide for this methodology, but I have a short write-up which I used for briefing my team when I was going to start them off on Scrum. So I'm going to share the write-up with you, and you can go through the write-up and check up on videos on Scrum as well to get you abreast on Scrum. And you can apply these three methods across in different ways. You can use, so just like the lady mentioned in our video, and I also mentioned to you, most project managers apply the Scrum aspect of Agile methodology for their project planning because it helps them to get abreast of events and tasks and helps them to manage their tasks a lot better. There's no better way to managing your tasks than hearing from the people who are doing the work. Even if you have the best Gantt chart, the best RASI table, the best paperwork, and you are not, you know, you are not getting feedback from your team, you are not getting involved with your team, then there'll be a wide gap between what is documented on paper and what is actually happening within the project. And that was why researchers now came up with Agile methodology and Scrum meetings. And most project managers have found it very, very useful. You understand? And even team members, project team members also have found it useful because they feel that, oh, you are not just giving them tasks and you leave them and you are not involved. You don't care of their challenges. You don't know what is going on. But from time to time, you are organizing frequent meetings and getting feedback and helping them solve challenges before the challenges get bigger. Because project team members during Scrum meeting will tell you their challenges. And as a project manager, you're expected to, to help resolve challenges that might have to do with resource. You might not be able to resolve technical challenges, but anything that has to do with, you need to escalate, you need to organize some feedback, then you get involved in such. So those are the necessary aspects of Agile methodology. Sorry, excuse me. My session has been taken over. Hello. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. Okay, so let me share the file with you now. Are you guys with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, I just sent a file now to the chat. Okay, so far the methodologies that we've discussed with you so far are fair enough. They are good enough for you to apply as an analytics project manager for any project or for an analytics project. So the RASI, the Gantt chart, and then using agile methodology to organize meetings and to elicit feedback from your team members. So you can apply all three models in various forms to have success in any analytics project you embark on. So I'm going to move on quickly now to another topic I have for the team for today. And we want to look at the project team. The project team, you know, the key aspect of any project is the team. Yeah, apologies. Sorry, I'm distracted. My son wants access to my phone to play game. And I'm using same phone for hotspot. Okay. Hello.
Maria, with you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. So an important aspect of every project endeavor is the team. And as someone who is into an analytics project management, you need to understand the roles and responsibility of team members for such analytics project. So I'm going to share my screen now and show you. We're going to run through together on various roles and responsibilities of an analytics project. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So for this kind of project, of course, you would already know the various kind of roles you're expected to have in a data related project, but we'll just look at it together and look at what are those things that are their roles and their responsibilities. Like, you have your big data engineers, you have your data scientists, but aside that, there are some other members of the team that may not be visible to that might not be easily visible, but are also important stakeholders for every project management endeavors. So successful projects are usually as a result of careful planning, and we've looked at various methods of planning a project. And the talent are the people resource. There's no project without people. There's no project without those that will do the work. You can have all the paperwork, all the best planning, but if you don't have the right set of people with the right mindset, the project is likely to fail. So for a project management endeavor, you need to place high focus, high demand on your people, having the right skill, having the right mindset to work, and having the right talent, the right resource. So the talent, and then you can have a league of best football players, but if they don't collaborate, if they don't work together, then that match is likely to fail, right? So same thing too for every project endeavors. There must be proper collaboration within the team, and it is the work of the project manager to ensure such collaboration, to also foster such collaboration. Sometimes you see project managers, they will just organize pizzas, they'll just organize meetings, it is all in an effort to ensure unity within the team, to ensure collaboration, to ensure that people go beyond work to having their minds in the work, to having the right mindset, with working with the people in the team. Yeah, so careful planning, talent, and collaboration of project team members is what helps any project to achieve their goals, right? To achieve project management goals of timeliness, resourcefulness, and quality. Yes, and quality. So always know this, careful planning, talent, and collaboration. So projects can't move forward without each member of the key team. Projects can't move forward without each of his key team members, but it's not always clear who those members are or the roles they play. So for every project, there are different roles expected for the success of the project. You can't, for an analytics project, you definitely need your data scientists, your big data engineers, your business analysts, and visualizations experts, and some other roles as needed. Sometimes you might even need an external consult to help you with maybe some external data or some other external resource. sometimes, depending on how large the project is, you might need a research and development team or a research assistant that helps you with, researching and stuff like that. Sometimes you might need editors, depending on how large the project is. Maybe that will help you with your articles, with journals, with presentations, or maybe the project needs to be represented in some other events and stuff like that, and you want to put up writings around it. So you need various roles, but for what are the key roles that we'll need for an analytics project? And we've listed these key roles. Now, project manager is important for every project endeavors. Then aside project manager, you also have project resource. Project managers and project resource, they are not always very visible because their main aim is to ensure smooth running and delivery of a project. But those that will do the work are now the business analysts, the data analysts, the data scientists, big data engineer, and stuff like that. So in small organizations like ours, you can find a person doing multiple roles, like you are a business analyst and at the same time a big data engineer or even data scientist all in one. So, but you just need clear understanding of these various roles and how they apply and what are their various functionalities for delivering on a project. Okay, so I'm going to move on quickly now into each of these roles and we'll just look at it one after the other. So project sponsor. Like I mentioned to you, project sponsor is not visible to the team in most cases. Why? Because they are the ones that ensure the smooth running of the project behind the scene. Why? They are the ones sponsoring the project. They are the ones interested in the project at the first instance. They could even be the visionaries. They might be the one who thought of the project and said, oh, we need to create this. Sometimes for organizations, it could be like the executive director, it could be the CEO, it could be the CDO, chief data officer, that looked at it that, oh, our organization is lacking in analytics products. We need an analytics vendor to do this project for us, and then they contact an organization such as us. So you need to know who your project sponsors are, because as a project manager, your project sponsor, you must be visible to your project sponsor. Okay, I'll explain the reasons to you. So project sponsors have these projects, analytics projects, as part of their key deliverables, as part of their cost or budget for the year. So they may not be abreast, or they may not be abreast of all that the project is doing at every point in time. But when it comes to making payments, when you bring your payment schedule is going to land on their table. And by that time, they'll start mentioning that, what have they been doing on that project? We don't know what they are doing, you understand? And as a project manager, you don't want to do an unpaid service. You don't want to come back to your boss to say that, oh, our payment is being delayed, because that can also cause the business to suffer. It can also affect your project negatively. Imagine if your payment is being delayed and your project team members' salaries are not being paid. It will affect your project directly, not even indirectly. You understand? So as a project manager, you are managing both upward and downward stakeholders. your project team members are like, I won't really say downward stakeholders, but they are your horizontal, or they are your key stakeholders, because they are the ones, doing the job, right? And your project sponsors are like your upward key stakeholders, because you need to be visible to them. They are the ones paying the money. They are the ones championing the project. They are the drivers of your project. They have a stake in your project's outcome. And that's why it's part of their cost for the year. It's part of their budget for the year. So assuming you get on you get a job, and you're working even as a project team member. If you're working as a project team member, or you're assigned an additional role to be the project manager on a job function, you must know who the people who are paying the money, who are interested in the project's outcome directly, and has to do with cost. So that you can ensure that your projects, your deliverables are visible to them. For our ongoing projects, I can mention to you our project sponsors. They may not have the name or role project sponsors in their organization, no, but you know that your payment plan will surely land on their table. So those are like your project sponsors. They are the ones who, within the organization, drive the payment of your services, right? Okay, so it is important that you also resolve conflicts. I mean, project sponsors also help to resolve conflicts and remove obstacles that might occur throughout the project, right? Because they are the ones paying, they are interested also in the project's outcome. So sometimes if you need to escalate on challenges that are happening within the project, then you may escalate to them. And for the ball most times stops there, because once you escalate to them, they would most likely, get it resolved. Because most times your project sponsors are always like senior or management roles of your clients, right? Because they are the ones that dictate the pace and make the payment. So most times they are always of senior roles, and you can escalate issues to them, and they will always help to resolve conflicts and remove obstacles. And like I mentioned, they sign off on approvals that need to advance each phase of projects. So those kind of approvals can be your financial approvals. It can even be approvals on kickoff time of a project, and project schedule times and stuff like that. So they are very important stakeholders that you must make as how would I put it? Make as visible. You must be visible to them. Yeah, right. Then I've highlighted their duties here. They make key business decisions for the project. So they are not directly involved in the project, but because the project is like their baby, they are the ones championing the project. They help in making key business decisions for the project. Then they approve the project budget. Yes. So during within the period of negotiating project and all that, the project manager is most times involved. So during that time, you would have identified the project sponsors, and you'd even be able to work with them on ensuring that they approve on your project budget. So they also ensure availability of resource. So before project kick starts, part of the things that are contained in the proposals are requirements for the project. So your office space requirements, your infrastructure requirements and stuff like that. the project sponsor ensures their availability. So at times your project sponsor may offer you someone in IT team to work with. But if there is any issue, if they are not responding to you in IT or whatever, you can easily escalate to your project sponsor. Your project sponsor most times resides within your client space, not within your own organization space. So I'm talking like as if you are working for Octave. So if you are working for Octave, Octave is a consultant to a client. Your project sponsor for a project will likely reside within your client space. So if Octave is consulting for FCMB, for example, the project sponsor will be a staff of FCMB. Okay, then they also communicate the project goals throughout the organization. So your project sponsors are the ones that tell you that, Oga, come here, these are the things that your analytics project should achieve for us, because they understand what the vision is, and you must ensure that um, you you deliver on all the goals that you agree with your project sponsors. Okay, so I'll move on to the next one. So the next role is your project manager, right? So for the sake of this class, we've been concentrating more on the role of a project manager, because this class has to do with project management. So I'm talking to all of you as though you are all project managers. But even if you are not assigned the role of a project manager, right, it is also important that you understand what a project manager does, so that you can work effectively with a project manager within a team, right? So the project manager plays a primary role in the project. The success of most projects, the success or failure of most projects depends largely on the project manager, because he assigns, he manages the smooth running of every project. So if a project is, is not meeting up with deadlines, is not meeting up with demands and stuff like that, the project manager knows, and the project manager should be able to resolve or escalate to those that will resolve. And that's why the project manager plays a primary role. He's responsible for the successful completion of a project. Now, as a team member also, you must, help your project manager to achieve the goals of the project, because the success of a project is on the team, not on the project manager alone. It's on the team. So as a team member, you must ensure collaboration. You must ensure that you are after the overall success of the project, and as well, doing your own part to ensure success on the project. So the manager's job is to ensure that the project proceeds within the specified time frame and under the established budget while achieving its objectives. Project managers make sure that projects are given sufficient resources. So the agreed resources as contained in the proposals is followed up by the project manager. So if in your proposal you have agreed that, you must provide us 3 servers with this server requirements, the server must be of certain hardware requirements. Let's say quad core something, or maybe certain hard disk drive space, certain memory size and all that. You must ensure that these resources are given, and if they are not given, there should be explanations for them, or you should note them, you understand, so that once you are becoming out of system resource, you can go back to your client to say, this was what we asked for and this is what you have given us, or to say, we need more system resource, please can you provision for us. So the project manager main aim is to ensure smooth running of the project, right? So you manage relationships between contributors that's within your team. You also manage your stakeholders engagement, both your client stakeholders engagement. So these are the duties for a project manager. You must develop a project plan. We've talked a lot about project plan, and we've looked at various methods we can use in developing our project plan. That's the Gantt chart, the RASI model, and the Gantt chart and the RASI model, and the sprint method. The sprint method, coming up with 2-week sprints, which we discussed today. Then you must manage deliverables according to plan, right? You must be able to plan your deliverables. So your sprints will even help you to have plans in smaller bits, right? Like smaller bits of 2 weeks, so that you are on track, so that you are not running behind schedule. Then you can use your Gantt chart to ensure timely delivery, right? And your RASI model to also ensure proper follow-up with project team members that are expected to deliver on tasks. Then you also get involved in recruiting project staff, depending on how large the project is anyway. If it's a very large project, then you might also need staff that will work with you to manage the project. So a project manager will be responsible for recruiting the project staff. Sometimes they're also involved in recruiting the technical staff, because they also are the face of the project. So they get involved in identifying people with the right mindset to work on a project with them. Then they lead and manage the project team. In fact, that's like the utmost duty that they are expected to do. They lead and manage the project team. They determine the methodology used on the project. They establish a project schedule and determine each phase of the project. They assign tasks to project team members and ensure the completion. Not just assigning tasks, they should also ensure the completion. And they provide regular updates to upper management. So that's what the project manager is expected to do. So sometimes you could have this as an additional role. Sometimes you could have a role as just a project manager alone, depending on how large the project is. Now, you also have the business analyst. The business analyst is part of the project team and defines the solutions to make an organization better. So your business analyst for an analytics project helps in creating or maximizing the values of a project deliverables. So your business analyst kind of does the overall analysis of a data project work. So, okay, when you get on the client side, it's the business analyst that will help identify all the various products that should be analyzed, all the various entities, all the various project deliverables that meet with the requirements of data products within the client space. So the business analyst is a technical person who as well understands business requirements, and that's why the word business analyst. So most times meetings are scheduled with business analysts and project managers so as to relate business needs into data products, right? And your business analyst will do something like your requirements gathering from business. So you go into meeting with business team members, or you schedule meetings with technical team members in your client space, and you elicit information from them on the kind of problems that they are trying to solve. So your business analyst is like your first hand um, representative for eliciting information on questions that clients are willing to solve with data analysis. So they are very, very important. They also help in drawing up use cases or solutions to test solutions to validate objectives, to say, oh, okay, my client is having a challenge of knowing who their customers are, for example, and you draw up a scenario that, okay, customers who buy our products and transact often, or churn, or are buying our products. Who are these customers? Where are they residing, and things like that. So you help to elicit business requirements, the kind of challenges business are having and are willing to solve, with data. So that's what your business analyst will normally do. Then you have your data analyst. Your data analysts are people who go into data to make first-hand, requirements gathering. Let me put it that way. So business analyst and data analyst functions sometimes in many organizations are joined together. But in a very large project, a business analyst may not have any business with data. All they are doing might just be, going to get or gather business requirements. But a data analyst would go and gather data requirements, would go into any form of data gathering methods used by business. So you get, many a times business have reports or lists in written in Excel sheets and all that. So yes, you collate all these various forms of data from any angle of the organization. You also go into their data backend, and then you start, manipulating data and trying to visualize the problems or likely problems that they're having. You check for data completeness, you check for data you check for data completeness, you check for data quality. You also visualize their data in such a way that you can have like expository information on the data. So as a data analyst, you must be proficient in using Excel, right? You must also be proficient in knowing how to write your crude SQL statements. So SQL statements to create tables, to manipulate data. And then you should be also responsible for generating simple dashboards that can explain or visualize the data that you are seeing at the back end, or the data that you have collated together. So your data analyst also works hand in hand with big data engineers to aggregate on data or to create the analytics data store, or what we call data warehouse or data marts. Now, the data analysts are the ones that we help interpret business requirements from the business analyst and position it to the big data engineers to create a data warehouse on a data project. Let me put it that way. Now you have the data scientists. The data scientists perform more sophisticated empirical analysis to understand and make business and make decisions on data. So your data scientist is a level ahead of your data analyst because they don't only understand the data, but they also apply statistical, mathematical models to extracting insights from data. If you remember, there was a class I did with you guys that I was trying to differentiate between a data analyst and a data scientist. So a data analyst might just be working to, collate data, interpret data in relation to business requirements and come up with maybe some kind of reports or dashboards, right, or charts. But they are not aiming at bringing out insights, right? Or they may not necessarily be aiming at bringing out insights. But a data scientist will look at the job of a data analyst and create insights. So a data scientist is focused on extracting insights from data. Someone trying to say something. Okay. Are you guys with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so a data scientist is focused on extracting insights from data, and they communicate these results in form of models. So a data scientist is coming up with like a decision tree based model, or like some regression prediction analytics results to explain further. Or it could even be same chart created by business analysts, but is connecting the dots and making insights, recommendations. So in our own organization, as data science only creates charts and data and stuff like that, you also, create insights. You also, come up with business recommendations that your clients can use as a feedback into their system. You understand? To generating more profit, to improving process, or to reducing cost. You understand? So that's how a data scientist differs from a data analyst. So data scientists, as you can see, they also generate dashboards. So in some organization, you can find a fusion of data science and data analyst. As a data scientist, you're also doing what a data analyst would do, because your work is like a step ahead of what data analysts would do. So as a data scientist, you're also going into the data, you are interpreting business requirements into data artifacts and creating data. So you have business products and you interpret it to create data products and come up with interesting insights. You take it a level higher, come up with predictive models, come up with interesting visualizations that makes a lot of sense and and gives and influences business decisions. So that's that for data scientists. The next, okay, I don't have big data engineer. Okay, another role which is not in this report, but it's supposed to be part of it, is the data engineering role. So the data engineering role as well is also very important, very key. Many times we like to separate the role of the data engineer from the data science role. Why? Because the data engineering aspect of a project is also very, very, very significant. Why? Because if the data is wrong or if there are misrepresentation of data during your ETL process. Your ETL process means extraction, transform, and load. So when you get to work on a client side, most times you don't work on the client's data platform, or what we call live environments. You don't work on clients' live or test environments. Most times you will be asked, or you will recommend to clients that you create a separate data store different from their own existing data backend, right? So for you to create your own data store, which will form like a data mart for your client, depending on how large your client's backend is, or which will even form like a big data warehouse for your clients if your client is a big enterprise. So when we come in, we create a data warehouse for them. So your data warehouse runs on a different data stack, meaning that there's a separate server created for it, which we will most times put in our proposal to say we need maybe a Windows server or a Linux server. I believe we all know what a server is. A server is just a computer, a high-end computing system. So your server in many cases is like your CPU desktop, right? But it's high-end. It has higher capacity and higher resource. So many a times you request for your own data stack to create a data warehouse for your clients. And one of the key deliverables of every analytics project is the creation of a data warehouse, the creation of a data stack. So on this data, it's entirely new, there's nothing on it, but you need to find a means of moving data aggregates, which we call things like data marts or data products, from your client's live environment into your own data warehouse environment. So the process of moving that is called ETL, extract, transform, and load. So you extract data, you transform it in the sense that you are replacing missing values, you are cleaning the data, you are ensuring data completeness and stuff like that. So that's what transforming data means, right? And then you load. So you load your refined data. So the process of doing that, the process of cleaning your data and loading your data and all that, the summary name is just called ETL. So sometimes you might be in work environment and people are mentioning ETL, that's what ETL means, extract, transform, load. And it's usually a process that takes place between moving data from one data stack to another data stack. So in the process of performing ETL, there could be some data misrepresentation, or there could be some data issues. So it is the work of the data engineer, big data engineer, to ensure smooth running of all data products, anything data. You ensure the smooth running of your ETL process. You ensure that there are no duplicates in your data. That's a problem we usually face most of the time, especially with our big data engineers. At times, there are duplicates in the data, and once there are duplicates in the data, your data value or your data report becomes messed up. You understand? So as a big data engineer, you ensure that once your ETL process runs, it does not rerun and create duplicates. You also work with the data analyst to understand the data and the business domain and know which data to aggregate and extract. So your data warehouse is not a mirror, is not a like for like of your client data stack or your client data environment. There's always like there's a difference. So you are not extracting maybe all the data information that your client has. No, you are only extracting the key information. So for instance, if we're looking at customers' information in a client environment, they might be getting details of customers' information that has to do with let me see. Okay, so in a customer table on the client stack, I might be additional details like foreign key details on the table. For instance, let's say the customers table, most times your client's database will be on a relational database system. So let's say that customer table is connecting to some other third-party software. And within that table, you have like a reference code to that third-party software. If that third-party software is not needed in your data aggregate, you don't need to collect that data. You don't need to collect maybe data on row ID on your customers table for uniquely identifying their customers. No, you don't need it. But the aggregate information or the key data information in the customers table that has to do with maybe customer name, customer age, date of birth, customers location where they are staying and stuff like that are key information that you would pick into your own data warehouse. So your data warehouse is a wide data information of your client data stack. So the big data engineer is very key, is a key role, and most times is a standalone role because they are like a pillar to every analytics project, and their path is also very, very sensitive. They must ensure that the data is well synchronized, data is well aggregated, the data warehouse is available, there's no server downtime, the data record is up to date, and ensure that everything around data is in proper place. Because once the data is messed up, every other thing that the data analyst or every other dashboard that the data analyst or the data scientist is coming up with becomes messed up, and that messes up the project. So the role of the big data engineer is very, very, very important. And that ends our class for today. We looked at the various roles for an analytics project and their responsibilities. We've also looked at the agile methodology that looks at means of eliciting information from project team members, and the artifacts for Scrum, which includes the Scrum meeting, the sprint board or sheet, the sprint sheet, and the sprint backlog. So all of these are very important for managing a successful project. You must be able to manage your key stakeholders, your project sponsors. You must also ensure collaboration within your project team members to have a successful analytics project. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Very much.
Okay, any question, any comment, feedback?
Okay. Yes, I have a question. I indeed learned about Scrum actually, because I've been wondering what the word is, and I've never had the courage to check. Okay, my question is, if, for example, it's a very large project and you're the project manager, but you will then have different teams. You have different teams that are handling different tasks. Will the Scrum, the sprint, that's the sprint meeting, am I right? Okay, the Scrum meeting.
Yeah, Scrum
Yes.
meeting.
Will it involve
Uh,
every member of each different team, or it's just be something like a team leads with you, and then they can go and have their own individual um, Scrum meetings? And I propose if you take that kind of stand, maybe then the overall sprint planning, then you might not have everybody together. Or how does it run in that case scenario?
Yeah, great question. Thanks for that. Okay, so for a very large project, the main aim is that your Scrum meeting should be frequent. And because it's frequent, it should not last for long. If not, people will not come or show up for that meeting again, and the meeting purpose will be defeated. So for a very large project, it's advisable, though in best case scenario, it's better that every member of the team is there. But it is advisable that you invite only the unit team leads to represent at the Scrum meeting. So the unit team leads would talk on behalf of their unit and just quickly itemize what was achieved within the unit yesterday, what they will be doing today, and what their challenges are. You understand? And at times within a Scrum meeting, sometimes the Scrum Master might request that an external member comes in to give a brief feedback. You understand? But the Scrum Master may not, because the Scrum meeting is expected to last just 15 minutes. If the feedback was as a result of the meeting going on now, as a Scrum Master, you can just request that the person who would give the feedback attends the next meeting, which is the following day, and give a feedback. You understand? But your aim as a Scrum Master should be that the Scrum meeting should not last for a long time. In fact, what is recommended is 15 minutes stand-up meeting. They call it stand-up because when people are sitting down, they will be relaxed and all that. So, okay, let me even give an example. In my former organization, where we practice Scrum to the teeth, to the detail, when before Scrum time, we might all be gathered at the meeting place and just be relaxed and talking and gisting. But once the Scrum Master is ready to start the meeting, there's a timekeeper that would, start the time clock, and we'll be checking, and the Scrum Master will just say, start. So once he says start, we all stand up and we just take turns to give our brief. And in your brief, no story. You are not no story at all. You just say what happened yesterday. Yesterday, I worked on the transfer future, and I was able to create, two logic that will do this, that will do that, and that's all. I don't have any challenge. Today, I'll be working on the remaining module to complete the transfer future, full stop. So everything I've said it within, let's say, 20 seconds. You understand? So there's no story at all during Scrum meeting, and Scrum meetings are effective that way because as a project manager, you are just getting the main details, like high level details from each project, and that helps you to have an overall understanding of what is going on within the project. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Daniel.
Yeah, yes, that does. Thank you very much, ma.
You're welcome. Any other
Hello,
comment? Question? Yeah, go on.
Yes, ma. Thank you very much, ma. So,
You're welcome.
according to your description, does that mean Scrum meeting holds every day? Or
Yes.
should hold every day?
It should hold every day. It should hold every day, because once you start meeting on Scrum meetings, people would not take it serious. So Scrum meeting should hold every day, and it should be very short. What is recommended is 15 minutes max.
Okay, ma. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm having a low battery, so my PC might go off. Is there any other question? Any other comments? Any other feedback? I will share the slide with you. Let me see if I can share it with you now so I don't forget.
Ma.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go on.
Ma, the previous document that you mentioned that you shared with us, we will not be able to have access.
Yeah, I shared it on the.
Yes, we will not be able to have access to it because I don't think we have that privilege. So I think it's best you share it with us through our email addresses. We cannot access the chat.
I'll send it to Emmanuel. He has your list of emails. He will share with you guys.
Okay, ma. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, guys. Yeah, it's 10 minutes past 12 now. Sorry I took extra time. Sorry I didn't start early enough. So till next week again, and we'll see next week. Thank you all for your time.
Have a great day, ma.
And you too all. Bye, everyone.
Bye, ma. Bye.
Thank you very much, ma.
Thank you,
Bye.
ma.
Welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.